but me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the 2019 NFL Coaching Carousel. I'm your man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. We started with 8 coaching vacancies. We're now down to 5. The Green Bay Packers, the Cleveland Browns, the Denver Broncos, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the team we're going to talk about now, the Arizona Cardinals, have all filled their head coaching vacancies. And the Cardinals filled their vacancy with the guy that I liked the most in this coaching carousel, in Kliff Kingsbury. He's the new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, and they desperately needed an offensive mind to come in and fix what was broken last year with their franchise rookie quarterback in Josh Rosen. He looked so bad last year to the point where people were questioning whether the Arizona Cardinals got it right. And also, there are even people that are out there whispering about Dwayne Haskins, the Ohio State quarterback that just declared for the NFL draft, and him being a possibility at #1 for these Cardinals. That's hogwash. And now with the hiring of Kliff Kingsbury, I think they have solved their issues at quarterback. They're going to fix this problem. Remember how everyone thought Jared Goff was bad and that he was a guy that maybe the Rams needed to move on from after just 1 year? And you know how we are. We live in a society. We want it now. We want it instant gratification. So if a guy doesn't work out in his rookie season, oh, he's a bust. We love using the B word and throwing that around. And I told everybody to just relax. Then they hired Sean McVay. He came in. I told them that that guy was an offensive genius and that he was going to do wonders for a guy like Jared Goff. We saw the results in his first year in Los Angeles. You look at what Matt Nagy was able to do for Mitchell Trubisky. Trubisky did not have the most impressive rookie season after coming in after the first 5 or 6 games of the season to start the remainder of the year. Didn't look all that great. Matt Nagy comes in and they win the division. Mitchell Trubisky looks like the guy. All is right in the world in Chicago and in L.A. Enter in Kliff Kingsbury, who was my favorite coaching candidate of all the coaching candidates this upcoming year. And if you haven't heard my podcast, the Louie T Network podcast, as you see down below, check that out. I talked about Kliff Kingsbury briefly and how he was one of my favorite candidates in this upcoming coaching carousel. Why? Because the guy is young, he's vibrant, he's an offensive mind, and he gets it. He gets players. He's a guy that played in this league. Even though it was briefly, he played in this league. He understands the plight of players. He can relate to these guys. He's still young enough to be able to do that. Love his energy on the sidelines with his players, very enthusiastic, and most importantly, he's an offensive mind. If you watched him at Texas Tech, I loved his offense at Texas Tech. Look, Patrick Mahomes, say what you want. Patrick Mahomes really blossomed under the tutelage of one Kliff Kingsbury, and you saw Patrick Mahomes this season, and you've seen what this guy has been capable of. A lot of what he was able to do and develop into comes from Kliff Kingsbury and his tutelage at Texas Tech. So trust and believe when I tell you this guy can do wonders for Josh Rosen, a guy that a lot of people were starting to question in Arizona. And he looked bad this year, I must admit, but the entire team looked bad because the coaching staff was bad. And so a lot of that is going to get cleaned up. I think Kliff Kingsbury is going to come in and do a wonderful job. I don't know if he's going to come in and all of a sudden you're a 10-win team and you're making a postseason a la Sean McVay in L.A., a la Matt Nagy in Chicago. I'm not going to go out on a limb and make that statement. I'm not going to be as brash as I was with Sean McVay, because I knew Sean McVay's work because of his time in Washington, and me being a Redskins fan, I could tell you very intimately what this guy was going to bring to the table. I can tell you this much. Kliff Kingsbury knows offensive football. That's what I can tell you. You need an infusion of offensive firepower into your football team, and you need confidence to be instilled in a guy that came into the league with the most ultimate confidence in Josh Rosen. His confidence was shot at the end of the season, going through the whole year and getting his brains bashed in over and over again. He needs someone to come in and reinforce that he is capable of doing this at the highest level. Kliff Kingsbury is going to not only do that for him, but he's going to interject life into an organization that seemed lifeless at times last season, and they never gave up. I can give them credit. They never gave up. Even the last game of the season pushed the Seattle Seahawks to the brink. They kept fighting for Steve Wilks, but he didn't get it as a coach. He wasn't ready to be an NFL head coach. And I can't say that Kliff Kingsbury is ready, but I do know this. The guy is a mind offensively, and he's going to come in and turn some things around. I want to see how he fills out his staff. That's going to be important because This Cardinals defense isn't that bad, and if he picks the right guy to head up his defense and they do a good job defensively, Kingsbury is going to get this offense jump-started. He's going to figure out some things. They're going to be good on the offensive side of the football as long as Kliff Kingsbury figures out his personnel. And I'll tell you something else what he's going to do. I really felt like Larry Fitzgerald at the end of the season wasn't having fun and was probably leaning closer to retirement. If Kliff Kingsbury is able to get him in a room, sit down with him, talk to him, and get him to see the vision, you may get Larry Legend back as well, because that's the kind of energetic personality that Kliff Kingsbury brings to the table. So I really feel like not only is he going to get the most out of this offense and interject life and energy into what was a dead Arizona Cardinals offense a season ago, but he's also going to interject life into this organization and have guys like Larry Fitzgerald, who were on the brink of possibly retiring, coming back to play football and be excited about doing that. Patrick Peterson, a guy that at one point wanted out because it looked bleak, he's a guy that's going to be reinvigorated by this hire. This was the perfect guy for the job. I think you got it right in Arizona. And I'll tell you this much. His pros, he's a bright offensive mind. He's young. He's vibrant. He looks the part of a Sean McVay. He looks the part of a Matt Nagy. That's what's in vogue right now. It's a copycat league. Everybody's looking for their version of Sean McVay, their version of Matt Nagy. He's as close as you're going to get from the college ranks to that. And so I love the hire from that standpoint. The cons. Look, this guy's never coached in the NFL whatsoever. Hasn't been a quarterback's coach. Hasn't been an offensive coordinator. Hasn't been at any level in this league other than a player. So this isn't the Big 12. All right, you're not going to be playing against Kansas. You're not going to be playing against Oklahoma State. You're not going to be running up the scoreboard, scoring 55 points. Teams actually play defense up here in this league called the National Football League. And so there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. The athletes are faster. The guys are bigger. They're stronger. They're smarter. So he's going to have to make a little bit of an adjustment here in the National Football League. But if there's a guy that I have confidence that'll be able to do it and do it well and help a team that needs it in the worst way, especially with Josh Rosen. You drafted this guy in the first round. You had pretty much hitched your organization to his back. He did not look like he was able to carry that load. Kliff Kingsbury is going to give him back the biggest commodity that Josh Rosen came into this league with: confidence. He's lacking it right now, and I'm telling you right now, Kliff Kingsbury is going to give that one thing back to Josh Rosen. He's going to give him some plays that he can handle. He's going to make this offense much more electric, and you're going to be back as a very competitive team. Not competitive in the sense of 3-13 and finding a way to lose games instead of finding a way to win games. You're going to be in ball games with a chance to win, and you're going to pull some of those games out. Now, I'm not telling you you're going 10-6 or 11-5 or 12-4 like the Rams and the Bears have the past 2 years with their new head coach. But like I said on my podcast, somebody out of these 8 teams, one of these franchises, they're going to turn their season around and make the postseason. We've seen it 3 years in a row, going all the way back to Sean McDermott in Buffalo in his first season, and the Bills hadn't made the postseason since 1999. He comes in, they win the division and make the postseason, or excuse me, they make the postseason as a wild card in Buffalo. 2 years ago, Sean McVay comes in, turns things around, and the Rams end up winning the NFC West and get a home playoff game. And then you go to this year, of course, with Matt Nagy and the Bears winning the NFC North and getting a home playoff game. Someone's going to do that. I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but somebody's going to turn their season, turn their fortunes around with a first-year head coach, and they're going to make the postseason, and it could be the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm going to tell you this much. People were laughing at the Cardinals last year because they were a downtrodden franchise, and I told you Steve Wilkes was not the guy for the job. But now that you've hired Kliff Kingsbury, I'll say this once, and I'll say it once only. It's no laughing matter now in Arizona. I'm your man, Louie T. Make sure you subscribe to the Louie T Network if you haven't already done so for more great content, as I will be covering all of the playoffs, all of the drafts, and anything pertaining to the National Football League. I'll see you next time. Have a good one, and make sure you check out the Louie T Network podcast. Have a good one.